Yes, sir.
Okay. So now mobile phase selection for RP-HPLC. Very, very important. Okay. So it is based upon the solvent strength selectivity. Okay. So solvent strength selectivity, what we are talking about? We are talking about the mobile phase selection for reverse phase, RP-HPLC and UV detection. So solvent strength selectivity. So solvent strength selectivity refers to ability of what? Elute analytes, okay, that can pass from the stationary phase. Eluted जो analytes रहेंगे ना, analytes means samples, they will pass through the stationary phase. Okay. Now in RP-HPLC, the solvent strength is directly proportional to hydrophobicity. हाइड्रोफोबिसिटी जितनी रहेंगी उतनी डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल ये क्या रहेगा? सॉल्वेंट स्ट्रेंथ रहेगा. स्ट्रॉन्गर सॉल्वेंट्स, एग्जांपल एसिटोनाइट्राइल्स, मेथनॉल्स, they are commonly used to elute the hydrophobic analytes. Okay. Now change in the solvent strength impacts retention time. चेंज अगर करेंगे आप सॉल्वेंट स्ट्रेंथ को तो रिटेंशन टाइम भी गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, रेजोल्यूशन भी गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, सेपरेशन एफिशिएंसी भी गड़बड़ हो जाएगी. ग्रेडियंट इल्यूशन है तो सॉल्वेंट स्ट्रेंथ क्या होगा? यूजुअली इंक्रीज होगा ताकि वो ऑप्टिमाइज करे सेपरेशन ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्स मिक्सचर्स. देयर आफ्टर solvent type selectivity. Solvent type selectivity means we check the effects of the different solvents on the separation of analytes. Okay. So now different solvents includes methanol, acetonitrile. Okay, basically these are the common popular solvent which are used. Okay, and what they do, they interact with the analytes in unique way, influencing the retention parameter. What they do, they influence the retention parameter. Factors such as hydrogen bonding, dipole interaction, solvent polarity, they play a crucial role in selectivity. Now, switching between the solvents can drastically change the separation profile of the analytes. Okay, what we have said, we have seen the solvent strength selectivity. How for with which it is directly proportional. It is directly proportional to the hydrophobicity. Okay, stronger solvent examples are the acetonitrile and the methanol. Okay. Now in the solvent type selectivity, what we do, we check the effects of the different solvents on the separation. We check the effects of the different solvents on the separation of analytes. Okay, and this is how they interact in the unique ways, influencing the retention behavior. Okay, what are the factors which influence this solvent type selectivity? Hydrogen bonding, dipole interactions, solvent polarity, they play a critical role in the selectivity. So we have to switch between the solvents drastically to change the separation profile of the analytes. Third thing, pH dependent selectivity. Okay, so how the pH, what the pH does, pH influences. What influences pH? pH influences the ionization of the analytes. Okay, and not only the ionization states of the analytes means sample, affecting their interaction. Okay, if they are going to affect the ionization. Okay, so basically they are simply affecting the interaction with the stationary phase. Ionizable compounds are acid and bases. What they do, they exhibit the different retention time based upon their mobile phase pH. Buffers are commonly used to maintain the pH, ensure reproducibility, and enhance selectivity. Choose the right pH on the analytical pKa is crucial for optimization separations. What is the need for the buffer mobile phases in this case? So what the basically the buffers do? So buffers are very much essential. Okay, in ionizable analytes. Okay, and what they do? They help to stabilize the pH. Okay, in the mobile phase. Okay, and if there are no buffers, okay, the shifting of the pH could be lead to irreproducible results, retention times, and the poor separations. What are the commonly buffered use? Acetate buffers, which are compatible with the UV detection also. Thereafter, the influence of the mobile phase. flow rates. Okay, so the flow rates of the mobile phase are affected by their retention time and the peak resolution. Okay, and if we are going to increase the flow rate, okay, the flow rate will be increased, but the retention time would be decreased, and negatively they will affect the resolution. Okay, because we are reducing the retention time, so don't expect a good resolution. Thereafter, what you have to do, balance the flow rate. How to balance the flow rate? By achieving the optimal separation, and thereafter the efficient run times. Okay, and in this, how can it will be helped? So if you are not missing, we have seen the Van Demeter's equation. Okay, and how, what it explains? It explains the relativity between the flow rates. Okay, and they, how they influence the separation. Okay, so this is the influence of the mobile flow rate. Okay, so these things are there. Thereafter, the choice of the detectors. Choice of the detector will depend upon the absorption property of the analytes. Analytes means sample. Okay, so wavelength selected must be of the analytes absorption. Okay, lambda max. Why? For optimal detection sensitivity. Okay, thereafter, one type of the detector which we can very easily use, that is the DAD detectors. Okay, so DAD means diode array detectors. Okay, and why they are used? Because they can be used for the multiple wavelength. Okay, and they have to be monitored simultaneously. So what they do, they improve the analysis flexibility. Okay, very, very important. Thereafter, any issue, anything you are not getting, please let me know. Huh? Be responsive बेटा. समझ रहा है? समझ रहा है बेटा?
जी सर।
कहीं भी कुछ भी इशू आ रहा है बेटा, प्लीज लेट मी नो. UV cutoffs of the mobile phase solvents. Now the UV cutoffs of the solvent is the wavelength solvent below which the solvent absorbs the UV light, and if they absorb the UV light, what they do? They interfere in the detection. What they do? They interfere in the detection. What are the commonly used solvents? First is the water, methanol, and the acetonitrile. And they have the specific UV cutoff wavelength that can be considered. For UV detection below the cutoff, the solvent interferes. Okay, and what they do? They reduce the sensitivity. अगर वो इंटरफेयर किया तो सेंसिटिविटी गई काम से. Very simple thing. Agree? So what we have seen today, फिर से बताता हूं. Solvent strength selectivity, solvent type selectivity, pH dependent selectivity. Okay, need for buffered mobile phases. Okay, influence of the mobile phase, flow rates. Okay, choice of the detector wavelength. Thereafter, UV cutoff mobile phase, solvents. Okay, all these things are there. Any doubt? Any issue? Have you got the concept? Have you got the concept, beta?
Yes sir.
Okay, that's all for today. Okay, so don't go anywhere. I'll be taking your attendance. I'm locking the meeting. एनीवन लेफ्ट? ओके, उनके नंबर बता दो फटाफट। हेलो, कोई अगर रह गया है ना तो उसके नंबर बता दो।
सर
22 PH 11।
11, हाँ। और फेक नंबर्स मत
सर
बताओ, हाँ, जो लोग एक्चुअली प्रेजेंट थे ना उन्हीं का बताओ।
सर 60।
है।
क्योंकि रिकॉर्ड हुआ है तो फिर मैं सिस्टम से भी क्रॉस चेक कर सकता हूँ, इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ। हाँ, क्योंकि अपन ने एक बार डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ था ना, इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ। बोलो आगे। 11 के साथ में कोई है, किसी का इशू?
22 PH 10।
सर 61।
अरे बोलो बोलो, हेजिटेट मत करो, अगर आप हैं तो लगाएंगे, क्यों नहीं लगाएंगे, अटेंडेंस क्यों नहीं लगाएंगे, हाँ।
सर 61।
61 भी है, हाँ। डबल डबल क्रॉस चेकिंग के लिए मत करो, हाँ। जो लोग यहाँ इसमें रह गए हैं ना, उन्हीं का नाम बताइए। अभी मैं इतना अच्छा नहीं हुआ हूँ कि एक एक क्रॉस चेक करते बैठूंगा, फिर भी कर रहा हूँ। ठीक है, प्लीज। ठीक है, लॉक करूँ ये क्या बोलते हैं, एंड करूँ मीटिंग को?
सर 13 और 60 साथ में।
आवाज नहीं आ रही।
सर 13 और 60 साथ में।
हाँ, वो ये मत, ये क्या बोल रहे हैं आप, ये अगर इसमें हैं आप लोग दोनों साथ में दिख रहे हैं तो ठीक है, और अगर नहीं है तो बता दीजिए अलग से। 13, 13
यस सर।
और 60।
60 60।
हाँ, ठीक है।
ओके सर।